So, you want to start making your own plastic baits? Well, you're going to need one of these, which is a mold. You're going to need one of these, which is an injector. You're going to need some of this, which is Plastisol. You're going to need some of these, which are colors. You're going to need some of those, which are glitters. You might need some of this, which is salt. You're also going to need one of these, which is a microwave. And if you want your baits to come out perfect, you're going to need one of these, which is a vacuum chamber. So all kidding aside, I thought today's video I would show you like how I got into bait making. So if you want to start making your own baits, it's not very hard. It's a very, very easy thing to do. If you have some common sense and you know how to be safe around very hot materials, then you can do this and stuff like that. But I will tell you this, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all, because all this stuff is most of the stuff that has to do with this kind of bait making is made out of aluminum, and we all know that aluminum's not cheap. So let's start out with my very first mold. And I highly recommend your first mold, pick a bait that you're going to use. Like, pick your favorite bait that they make a mold out of and stuff like that. For me, it happened to be the 5-inch stick bait, aka the Cinco. And I picked Angling AI to get my first mold from. And this mold is awesome. I mean, I have no complaints for it. I have shot probably this mold more than any other mold. Of course, it was my first mold for a very long time. So let's take a look at it. So this mold shoots 5-inch worms, stick baits. This can be a core shot too. It does come with these rods where you can do like a clear on, like a clearish color on the outside and do like a core shot. But for today, we're just going to use it as a stick bait mold. But this is a very, very good mold. There's a whole bunch of companies that make stick bait molds and other molds like that out there. I just happened to pick this at the time, and I have no complaints at all with this. I really love this mold. It's a lot of fun to shoot. It's very easy to shoot. It's one of my favorite molds to do, and it's probably one of the main baits I go to when I do go bass fishing and stuff like that. So after that, you're going to need an injector. This injector is made by Bass Tackle. It is a very awesome injector. I've had this almost since I started this. I got this injector not long after I knew that I was going to get into this and it was going to become a hobby and stuff like that. So I ended up getting this as a dual injector. So you actually have seen this in other videos where you can actually put this together and make it into a dual injector. What I like about it though is it comes apart and you can use it as a single injector. These things are very awesome. They come apart very, very easily. Of course, the bottom comes off like this so you can clean it. But what's really good is the top comes off of it. So you can actually take it completely apart and like run some kind of, rag or something through that to actually clean your injectors and stuff like that. The first injector I got though was just this cheap Amazon injector. I think I paid 40 bucks for this. I don't even know if they still make it. It does have a lock-in at the end of it here. It's got a little screw in there. I will tell you, if you shoot a lot of baits, that screw will wear out your fingers and stuff like that. It works really good. I don't even know if it'll actually pull apart. Nah, it needs a little grease and stuff like that. One thing about this, it's very hard to clean. Of course, the top is just a solid top there, but you can get it apart enough to where you can clean it and stuff like that. I believe this is a 3-ounce injector, and this one is a 6-ounce injector. So doing bigger molds, you would have a problem with a smaller one. I recommend your first injector to be at least a 6-ounce, because some of these molds are big, especially this Cinco mold, or sorry, this stick bait mold, it's pretty big. So I have a frog mold that's pretty big, and I have that, of course, you all have seen me do that 12-inch curly tail worm. That thing is really, really big. So you're gonna need some Plastisol, of course. I go with Dead On Plastic. This is their worm blend. I usually buy it by the 5-gallon buckets. It usually runs, sorry, let's back up. When I paid for this, I think I paid like 300 bucks for this. I think it's a little under 300 bucks now. What it is, I think it's 248 bucks for a dual injector with two 3 ounces. But when you bump it up to 6 ounces, both of them be 6-ounce injectors, you have to add 50 bucks. So 50 bucks, $248 plus 50 is $298. So all right, back to the Plastisol. So the Plastisol I use Dead On Plastic. This is the worm blend. I buy it by the 5-gallon buckets. It's like $109 for 5-gallon buckets. And shipping and handling is pretty expensive because you are sending something that's very heavy. Of course, I do have, let me just turn the camera here. I do have a whole bunch of different colors. If you're getting the Plastisol, if you're getting the bait making, I highly recommend you just pick like 5. I would go with black, white, maybe some kind of blue, maybe some kind of red or yellow, but definitely I would go with some kind of green punket from any company out there. And this is what we're going to be shooting today. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make green pumpkin, because green pumpkin is pretty much every bass fisherman's go-to bait out there. It is still mine today. I love all different kinds of green pumpkins. I use it in all different kinds of baits and stuff. It works. Bass love it. Even other fish besides bass like green pumpkin and stuff like that. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot some baits and show you how easy it is to make just some 5-inch stick worms. So let's get to cooking this Plastisol, and I'll kind of go over a couple of things as we go. So one thing you're going to need when you make baits is you're going to need a microwave. Now as you can see, I got this awesome Hamilton Beach. I got this from Walmart. Just right off the shelf. I don't know, they run between 60 to 80 bucks depending on how much you want to spend for a microwave. I highly recommend that you get one that does this. So, and it's also 1,000 watts. So I'm going to put my Plastisol in there and watch this. I like 1 through 6 being express cook. So I'm going to go 2 and then I'm going to add 30. And it's cooking right now. So I'm going to cook that for 2.5 minutes and then we'll check it here in just a minute. So I have this up, the temperature is at 363 degrees. I cooked it for 2.5 minutes, took it out, started up a little bit, and then I cooked it for 30 more seconds. So it came up to 200, which is fine. You don't want to get it too hot, but you do have to have this Plastisol past 350 degrees for everything inside that to mix up. So one of the easiest colors to make out there, and I highly recommend when you pick your first batch of colors, anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even 10 colors, I highly recommend that you pick some kind of green pumpkin or green watermelon. We're going to go with green pumpkin today, which is Dead On's Plastic green pumpkin. And we're going to do 40 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 39, 40. That's 40 drops. We're going to start this up. And as you can see, it makes a nice green pumpkin color. And there it is. I can still see it on my knife. It's going to come out just perfect. Alright, now since we have our color made, we're just going to grab some .040 glitter. We're going to grab this big spoon. I'm reaching around the camera, sorry. And I'm going to take 2 scoops of this. It's that easy. It's that easy. And there you go. There's watermelon seed right there. I mean, technically it's green pumpkin seed for us, but we're going to call this watermelon seed. Look at that. You see the seeds in there? So, which is our flake. Very easy color. So, 40 drops of this, 2 scoops of a 1/4 teaspoon of .040 flake, and you have a color, and you're ready to start making baits. Now, because I like to salt my Cincos, this is definitely optional. I am going to put some salt with mine, and it's going to shock it. Let me get this in the camera here. All right, I'm going to take a little less than 1/4 cup, so about 3/4 of a 1/4 cup. See that right there? And I'm going to dump that in there. A lot of people say using salt is very hard. They're not wrong. It is hard to use, but if you use your Cincos like I use mine, then you definitely probably want to salt yours. I want the weight of them. I want them to fall kind of quick. I like the salt. So because I put salt in here, this is really shocking this color, and it is cooling down super fast. So we're going to throw this back in the microwave for just a few minutes, or a few seconds I should say, and be right back with you. So if you do use salt for your baits, I will highly recommend that you stir your Plastisol up constantly, because that salt is trying to settle at the bottom as soon as that. All right, we're at 356 and we are going to shoot these. So I happen to have 2 of the same mold here, 2 stick baits, both made by England AI, and we're going to shoot them both. So I got to get this injector completely full to do both of these molds, because they are big molds. They suck a lot of plastic. Put a little pressure on the first one there. And because of salt, you got to go a little fast, but not too fast. Like I said, wearing gloves is a big deal. You want to make sure you wear gloves. And when I'm not talking on camera, I usually wear a respirator mask. Oh, that one might have not filled all the way up there. We'll see. Like I said, they do suck a lot of plastic. Maybe I had just enough there. All right, we're gonna let them cool down, and I'll be back with you here in just a minute, and I'll show you what the baits look like. All right, let's take a look at these. So let's grab this one first because I think this one shot better than the last one. So I'm gonna show you how easy it is. I didn't cut my tops off or anything. So you can do this. You can cut the tops off like that. Well, I didn't take it. And then you just pull this apart like this. Very easy. They're gonna come out on this side. And there you go. There's green pumpkin seed or watermelon seed, whatever you want to call it. So came out looking great. We're gonna grab these. There they look. Very, very easy bait to make. 40 drops of that green in a cup of Plastisol. I'll put these in the water bath over there, and those are ready to go. Then I'm going to close up my mold. Easy for me to do some editing there. Or you don't have to take these off. You can actually just kind of roll it off so it doesn't like pull on it. Let's see how these ones came out. All right, these came out looking great except for the very top one, because I didn't do very good filling up my injector. This is hollow inside like that. See that? So that one's a bad one. Throw that one to the side. But these other four came out just fine. And I'm not going to go back and fix those. So there's those four. They came out perfect. I should have pulled a little bit more in my injector. Like I said, this is a lot of Plastisol that goes in both these baits. So yeah, you can see that's hollow all the way through that. Let's pull it apart. See that? Yep, that's a bad bait. But you know, you don't get it always right every time. So, and I don't mind showing my mistakes on camera. So after I got those, I put that in the water. I put those baits in the water bath. I put my molds to the side. Injector, very, very easy to clean. You just take this after it cools down, rolls right off. I'm going to grab this, pull it out of that. What's cool about this injector is it locks into place. Pull this off, and then this pushes out the little puck that's on the inside there, and there it is. Very easy cleanup. As long as you keep this greased up, you're good to go. So this is ready for the next round. So alright, so because you see me do this easy color, we're going to use this green pumpkin again, and I'm going to show you another color that you can come up with. It's a very, very popular color in the bass world. I'm sure you all can guess it, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Alright, so we just made some watermelon seeds. So now let's make another color using this green pumpkin, and we're going to put 40 drops. Let's go 50 this time. 7, 58, 59, 60. So instead of doing 50, I did 60. We want to darken this one up a little bit. I want to show you that you can have a lighter color or you can have a darker color. It just matters on how many drops you put into this. This is all for a cup of Plastisol. All right, I like that. That'll be good. So same as before, we're gonna do 2 scoops of this black 0.040. Make sure that's all off there. And now, since you guys can see it in the background there, we're gonna do a big scoop of red there, and we're gonna do another scoop of 0.040 red. And then just to give it a little bit of character, we're going to take this 0.015 and I'm going to do not quite a full thing, maybe like 3/4 of a quarter teaspoon. We'll dump that in there too. Tap it in there. Drizzle on top there. And then mix it up. And we just made watermelon red flake. As simple as that. 2 different baits, 1 color. That works. Watermelon red flake. I'm going to go ahead and add my salt to this, which is going to take it from probably 350 degrees probably down to like 2 something after I stir this in. I'm going to give this just a little bit of a stir. Yep, there is no salt buildup on the bottom there, so we're going to go for it here. Hopefully I can do better this round than I did last round. I'm going to try to get a good, there we go, all the way. And a little bit of pressure on the first one there. Fill up the sprue. And there we go. I believe I got them both all filled up. Yep. Did much better that time than I did last time. I'm going to take our butter knife, pull this over a little bit so I can fill the top of this. Oh, over poured. Trying to reach around the camera. That's a little better. Alright, we're going to let them sit for a few minutes and then I'll show you what they look like afterwards. Alright, let's take a look at this second color. So, let's get these off here. Let's take a look at these and see how they turned out. Look at that. Those came out perfect. Yes, I dig those. What do you think? So I used this same color. Whoops. Used the same color to get two different colors of baits. So, all right, let's grab them off this real fast. Look at that. There's 5 perfect baits. Put them in the water bath. Close up these molds. Out of the way. All right, see how I did on the second one here. So hopefully I pulled enough plastic to fill them all up. Coming out on this side, that's fine. And we did great. Put them back here. There they are. Came out perfect. Yep, I'll take those. Pull these out. There we go. Another batch there. So that's them. So we'll let them put them in the water bath. I'm gonna clean up my mess here and I'll be back here in just a few minutes. Alright everybody, so here's the baits we made. So on the left side is watermelon seed and on the right is watermelon red flake. So I used 40 drops for that one and I used 60 drops for that one, and I did that all in 1 cup of Plastisol for each. So let's talk about like getting into bait making and stuff like that. I highly recommend, if you get into making your own soft plastic baits, that get some kind of green pumpkin or watermelon green or something like that. So even though I called those 2 colors watermelon colors, it actually is green pumpkin made from Dead On Plastic there. 2 colors but made with the same colorant, but I just ended up putting black and red flake in one, and then I just ended up putting black flake in the other. So it came out 2 completely different baits. If you're getting into the bait making, of course you do need a mold. I went with the Anglin AI. This was my very first mold. There it is again. Does 5 stick worms. They look really close to Senkos. I'm a huge Senko person myself. I mostly use them for wacky rig, and that's why I do put the salt in them, because I do want them to fall quickly. So I got a jug of salt here, or a bucket of salt. I buy this by, I think it's 5 pounds at a time. Of course you do need an injector. I highly recommend Bass Tackle. I know it's pricey, but they do last a very long time. I've had no problems with this. The only thing I've had to do is change those little orange O-rings there every once in a while. I just went on Amazon and got like a big pack of them. You do need some kind of thermometer, some kind of like digital thermometer. So this like shoots down at the ground. So right there it shows it's 76.4 degrees on this surface right here. So, and then I stir my plastics with just some butter knives that I found. I think I found these in my parents' basement a few years ago and stuff like that. So other than that, you know, of course you're gonna need a microwave. And if you do want to get the bubbles out of your Plastisol, I highly recommend that you get a vacuum chamber. But I did not have a vacuum chamber for a while. So when I got this mold back in the day, I ended up getting this injector right here off Amazon for 40 bucks. Real cheap and everything like that. And then I ended up just saving some of my leftover plastic baits for like a few weeks. And then I finally got a microwave and I melted a bunch of my extra baits together. And I do have some of my first baits. Right here they are. So I got them in a Ziploc bag. This is before I actually had like plastic bags and stuff like that. And it came out with this pretty cool brown color. I picked a lot of baits that are like green and brown and maybe even a little bit darker than that. But like just picked a few baits, put them in a cup, and then mellowed them down. I took my time. I think I was doing minutes at a time. I finally came up with 350 degrees. And I put it in this injector, shot the mold like that, waited a couple minutes, opened them up, and there we go. I do know molds can be expensive, but they do make cheaper molds. Like this mold right here is from Bass Tackle. This is a trout egg mold. I got it for 40 bucks, I believe, and it does 40 5/16 trout eggs. So, I mean, there are cheaper molds out there. There are very expensive molds out there, depending on what you're looking for. Just do your research, and whatever kind of bait you probably use the most is what I would recommend at the beginning of it. So, all right, I'm back. So I had to go get these because I've let them cool off. So as Plastisol, as you use it, you can see that these are cooling down right now. I don't know if I can touch it, but yeah, I can touch it. And you can save this to use another day. So I know this is worm plastic with salt in it because the salt will come to the bottom, so it's real hard right there. And you will need some kind of Pyrex cup or something like that. I get the Anchor cups from Walmart. They're a little cheaper and they're easier to find. Sometimes hard to find Pyrex. And of course there is the green. Like I said, you can take these out. It's a little too hot to touch. But you can take these out, store them in like some kind of container or something like that, or just put them to the side and you can shoot these again one day. Also, you can mix different colors. Like I can mix these two together and probably get some more watermelon reds out of them and stuff like that. So, but as you can see, I've gotten into this pretty good. You know, I mean, I got a lot of colors out there, a lot of glitters. I got a lot of molds and other stuff over to the side. Got a TV. Of course, I do have my microwave over here. I got my vacuum chamber down there, and I have a table down there where I can let my bait sit for. I usually let my baits sit for 48 hours, but they highly recommend that you do let these sit for 24 hours. So like you see them right there on the tray, I will leave those on the tray for a couple days before I bag them. But technically, 24 hours from now, you can bag them and take them out. Also, what I forgot to mention, you will need some kind of worm oil. So I got this from Dead On Plastic. They call it worm oil. I think almost every company does. And that actually is what you use to like grease up your injector. You want to bag it with a little bit of worm oil, so that's what keeps your baits from sticking together and disintegrating and getting gooey and stuff like that. So, and this is how I bag mine. So I put an S on it because I got salt in them. I got a little tag up there so I can write what kind of scent I put on and stuff, and you can see how they're not sticking together, how I can push my fingers and they're not bonding together or anything like that. And that's actually how you store them and stuff like that. So, but I hope that helped. I appreciate you watching this video. And if you wouldn't mind, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.